In this example, we're told that the value of an investment at time t is given by the function s of t, capital S of t. And we're shown in the graph down here s prime of t, right? This is the derivative. So this is the rate of change of the value of the investment. And the first thing we're asked to do is to find the critical points of this function s of t. All right. So I'm just going to put it here. A. I'm going to put the answer to A here because we know that the critical points are when s prime of t is equal to 0, right? And that happens for t equals 1 and 4 and 6, right? Because the value of the derivative is 0 at 1 and 4 and 6. So those are the critical points. Let's mark them on here. CP, right? So so we have critical points at I'll just write it. So these are the critical points. Critical points. Okay, so we have critical points at 1 and 4 and 6. All right, so part B says classify each critical point as a local maximum, local minimum, or neither. All right, now I like to draw a little number line. So let's put the answer to B here. And I'm just going to draw a little number line and mark my critical points on there, just like I have before, right? So this is 1 and 4 and 6. Okay, those are my critical points, and then I just want to look at the sign of the derivative, right? So you can look at this graph of s prime of t, right? The values of s prime are positive until you get to 4, and then they're negative between 4 and 6, and then positive again. So I'm going to mark, for t less than 1, the values of s prime are positive. That means that s is increasing, right? The value of the stock is increasing there. Now it does hit 0, but then it stays positive, right? So s prime is still positive between 1 and 4. And so that means that the value of the investment is still increasing. But once between 4 and 6, right, you can see that the value of the derivative is negative, right? So that's telling us that the value of the investment decreases in that time interval. And then after t equals 6, it's increasing again, okay? So you can see that x equals 1 is neither. Let me just write that down. X equals 1 is neither, right? It's neither a local maximum or a local minimum. But we have a local maximum at x equals 4, and we have a local minimum at x equals 6. So that's telling us that the maximum price, there's a local maximum of the the value of the investment at t equals 4, and then there's a minimum value, local minimum value of the the value of the investment is at a minimum at t equals 6. All right, so then part C. Let's take a look at part C. Let me scroll down here a little more. I don't know if you still need the graph. Maybe? All right, so part C says explain the financial significance of each of these critical points. All right, so what does that mean? All right, let's start with at t equals 1, right? That was our first critical point. What does that mean? So, so the value of the stock was increasing, and then at t equals 1, it hit 0, right? Briefly, but then it continued to increase. All right, so so we could say the value of the investment, right? So value stopped increasing. But only at a very short instance in time. So only momentarily. So momentarily, and then it it began. So then began increasing again. It's increasing again. Okay. All right. So that's t equals 1. Let's look at the next critical point at t equals 4. Okay. So what happened there? The value of the stock was increasing, then it started decreasing. Okay, so basically that's it. So the value of the investment stopped I'll say it stopped increasing. And began decreasing at that point. Okay. All right, now I gotta scroll down just a hair more. All right, let's look at the last critical point. The last critical point was at t equals 6. Right, now at t equals 6, right, before t equals 6, between 4 and 6, right, the value of the stop was decreasing. So at t equals 6, that's where it stopped decreasing and started increasing again. So that's a good. We want the value to go up, right? So, all right, so at t equals 6, the value stopped. Looks like I forgot a D here. Stopped decreasing. And began increasing. Okay, so we have a local minimum at 6 and the local maximum at 4. All right. Okay, I'll meet you in the next video.